Wait. Testing. While it's read, it's okay, I guess so. We'll now call the meeting into session. The committee will convene an executive session in main office conference room, 6 p.m. pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-4 and 5 for the purpose of discussion, Mill City arbitration settlement, and legal advice related thereto pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A2. I will entertain a motion to head into executive.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes. I'll now call the meeting back into order, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. There are no votes taken in executive session. I'll entertain a motion by the committee to seal executive session minutes pursuant to applicable provisions of RIGL 42-46-4 and 5.
I'll make a motion to seal.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Policy Committee report. That's you.
It's just a second.
Oh, this is
If
just
anyone
the
has
second
any
read.
questions.
Okay, yeah, so if anyone has any questions with regards to the AI policy. Hearing none, we'll move on to public comment. Thank you. Stephen Bernard. Yeah, you can go right to the podium.
It's off. That's on. Do I have to hold it? I'm good. Good evening, everyone. I'd like
evening.
to thank you for the opportunity tonight. A little bit about myself. I was the first school shooting in the East Coast back in 1988 in Bristol, Rhode Island. I was only a freshman in high school. It was a bullying incident. I was actually the bully. Then I turned to the victim. And after having a 5% chance of survival, I miraculously, and thank the Lord, made it through. And instead of feeling sorry for myself, I guess the good Lord gave me strength to want to make a difference in the world. And I thought, we're better than what our own kids today. So I developed a program called Silence Hurts, because the day I was shot, 3 students and 3 teachers saw the gun that morning. And no one came forward. And I don't want to get into a lot of the aspects of it, but I developed a program, and I met a former state police lieutenant, John Reese, and we just fell for each other, and I traveled all over the country, places such as FBI headquarters in Washington, where I spoke in front of 3,000 FBI agents, and I was trying to get a course in every school, like a health course on bullying and conflict resolution, and we have to teach our kids these things. They don't just walk into making the right decision. So a place like FBI headquarters, plus hundreds of schools, the State House, I can go further and on. But I do it just to get to one kid. Because one kid is a chain link, if you think about that. It's one chain link. And isn't it worth saving one? Because remember, the day after is when you're all going to feel the effects of what happened to me. Just to give you a little hint, this is how I'm going to be the rest of my life. Here we go. My anniversary was Tuesday. It was 37 years ago that it happened. And I started a new thing called Project Change. And I spoke in front of 350 people at Johnston Middle School this past Tuesday. And let me tell you, that one kid that looked at me, knowing that I got him, that's that one. Isn't that worth it? I got goosebumps talking right now. I got a beautiful daughter here that I raised by myself, who comes along because she's my greatest fan. But my program goes beyond just my story. It's about teaching kids strategies about what they see is important in the hallways, and they have to be held. I don't want to get into a lot of it. I only have 5 minutes. I can talk for hours like nothing right now, like this, because I get passionate about doing this, because this is my calling. And I'm grateful that you could hear me tonight. I'm hoping that the next meeting I can go a little further on what I offer. And I think the kids, I've done Martin Middle School under Frank Duvall, and also when he was principal at Cranston West High School, I did the program there also. But I did the program at Martin Middle School with John Reese. It was more of an after-school thing. My offer is I could do a big assembly, 6th, 7th grade, because their years are going to be furtherly difficult going from middle school to a big place like this. So why not teach them those skills so that when they get up here, they know what to feel and what to look for. And we want our kids to be themselves. Okay? A lot of the kids go home at night, look in the mirror, and not many go and go, wow, I'm so proud of what I've done today. And I can go further and further, but I'm just hoping for that opportunity. And I think to save one, it's worth it. We see the epidemic that's across our country and throughout the world. Look at the news every day. In 1999, I said it right in those headquarters in FBI. I said, you know what? Years to come, it's going to be an epidemic. And this was 1999, 26 years ago. And I think it speaks for itself. We don't want to scare our kids. We want to educate them. And it's people like me that are inspired to do it also helps you if you really think about it deep, about if that was your child. Isn't it worth it if it's just your child and it's that one? My program offers change from within. And the kids have to understand that 4 years, we make it sound like it's the best time of their lives, and it's somewhat of a little bit of a battlefield. We don't want that in their minds. We want just hearing my story alone, I think will, and I'll say it again, will make a change within them. So I thank you for your time. God bless you all.
Thank you.
And I hope I can get the chance to speak more.
Yeah, we have your contact info, so we'll definitely reach out.
I gave it to Renee. I put it up on the board up there.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we have it.
thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Thank you.
Renee Ignacio. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, I can't beat that. So I'm going to tell you, I was there that day. I was in the lunchroom that day that he was shot. I came out of that DECA class in the morning when that student pulled that gun out of his locker and showed our school the gun. Our officer was in that school. He saw it. That gun was in a locker down the hall from our principal's office. How it even got into our school, I don't even know. Seeing Steve in the courtyard, in a pool of blood, a friend of mine that I grew up with in Barrington, changed my life forever. I use his story with my kids, my own kids, my son's friends, the kids on my van. If I can ever say anything about bullying, that right there is where I get that from. The passion I have with my kids on my bus is what I went through that day. I have, from my Facebook group, my friends, our friends that we went to school with, they heard the gunshot. We all heard it. They were looking down from the library and saw him in the courtyard in the pool of blood. Then the cops came. The state police showed up. We were sent home early. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if he would survive. Our bullying just doesn't start or stop in our schools. It starts, I've been here for our buses. It starts at our bus stops. It happens on our buses. It happens on our vans. We don't know where it ends. It happens at home. We need to stop it from happening. We need to do something because this is where it goes, or worse. How he ever made it, I don't know, but I have done more research for our buses, our cameras. Bullying happens on our buses all the time that our drivers can't get to. And I have found a program for cameras for everything, and I have all of the information for you guys that I would like to share with you and give it to you guys. But please, I don't know how much more you need to do this for our kids, for your grandchildren. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, as always, Renee. I appreciate it. Madeline Marlowe.
Good evening. My name is Madeline Marlowe, and I'm on here on the behalf of the East Providence Prevention Coalition. And hearing your story, as a preventionist, I have to advocate for those kind of programs in our school as well. I'm here to talk about something else, but I just wanted to say that. I'm here to advocate for the administration of student health surveys, including the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, or the YRBS, and the Rhode Island Student Survey, known as RIS. As a coalition dedicated to health and prevention, we strongly support the administration of these surveys because they provide critical, anonymous data that allows us to access local, state, and national trends related to youth health and safety. These surveys serve as an essential tool for securing funding, developing critical evidence-based programs, and guiding student-led prevention initiatives, such as violence prevention and substance use prevention. There are two main health surveys that RIDE will ask. There are two main student health surveys that RIDE will ask school districts to approve administration to secondary students. The primary survey is the Rhode Island Student Survey, or RIS, administered by the Rhode Island Department of Behavioral Health Care and Developmental Disabilities in Hospitals, and that's done every other year. The RIS examines the prevalence of substance use, bullying, depression, suicide, and violence among Rhode Island youth in middle and high schools. The RIS provides state, district, and school-level data, making it a crucial tool for identifying trends affecting our youth and allows us to tailor interventions specific to East Providence students. Having access to this data is also instrumental in securing the East Providence Prevention Coalition's main source of funding, which is the Drug-Free Communities Grant, and meeting required evaluation measures. Most, if not all, school districts in Rhode Island participates in the RIS or a similar survey approved by their respective school committees. I mention the RIS because in a few short months, this committee will be asked to approve the RIS administration to all secondary students in East Providence. The second survey, the one on the agenda for this evening, is the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which is administered in alternating years with the RIS. The YRBS is conducted in 19 randomly selected public, charter, alternative, and vocational high schools, and 19 middle schools across Rhode Island. This survey provides essential data points not captured in the RIS and allows for comparison between East Providence, the state, and national trends. So how can we use this data to benefit our students? Student health surveys play a significant role in shaping prevention efforts that directly impact East Providence youth. For example, this data informs grant applications and funding, as many grant opportunities require specific data points that are only available through the RIS and the YRBS. By participating in both surveys, we ensure that we have the strongest possible applications to secure funding for youth health programs. The EPPC and other East Providence organizations like the EPHES are entirely grant funded, and without this data, we would be unable to demonstrate the need for funding opportunities. In addition, this information aids in developing programs and policies. The EPPC uses survey data to design initiatives that address emerging health concerns, including substance use, mental health, school safety, and physical well-being. For example, YRBS data has identified a 50% increase from 2021 to 2023 in the percentage of students who talk on their cell phone while driving. So in response, the EPPC has partnered with driver safety programs such as Youth Driven and Think Fast to address this issue. Think Fast was recently delivered to East Providence High School, Riverside, and middle school students in January and February of this year, and reaching hundreds of students with engaging and interactive prevention messaging. It also helps in empowering student leadership. The East Providence Youth Council, or EPIC, actively uses survey data to develop peer-led prevention efforts. Having access to a broad set of data ensures that youth can advocate for policies and programs that meet the real needs of their peers. One EPIC member stated, collecting this data helps make sure students like me and my peers get the support and resources we actually need. Without it, important issues could be overlooked, and we wouldn't have the programs that help us stay safe and healthy. And finally, is crucial in evaluation efforts. The EPPC uses survey data to measure the effectiveness of our prevention programs and ensures that we are meeting our goals to create a safe, healthy environment for East Providence youth. In fact, we have used both RIS and YRBS data to demonstrate a reduction in youth substance use among all substances in East Providence. The largest decrease of 50% was observed in cannabis use among students. Due to these measurable outcomes, the EPPC was recognized as an Office of National Drug Control Policy, Blue Ribbon Coalition, and awarded as CADCA's 2023 Coalition of the Year. Without access to this data, we would not be able to evaluate the impact of our programs or advocate for the necessary resources to sustain them. I know privacy is a big issue. We understand that student privacy is a priority. Both the Rhode Island Student Survey and the Youth Risk Behavior Survey are completely voluntary and anonymous. They do not collect identifiable information such as names, emails, or student ID numbers, and individual responses cannot be traced back to any student. Even though these surveys are usually administered electronically, they do not link responses to devices or IP addresses. The Rhode Island Department of Health and the Centers for Disease Control oversees the administration of the Youth Risk Behavior Survey and ensures strict privacy protections. While the Rhode Island Student Survey does provide school and district level data, it is collected and reported in aggregate form, preventing identification of individual students and does not collect identifying information. Similarly, the YRBS results are only reported in aggregate form at the state and national levels, further safeguarding student anonymity. Since the East Providence School Department has been randomly selected for the YRBS, it's a randomly selected process. We do really urge you guys to allow the students to take this survey, and also to approve the Rhode Island Student Survey. That will be this fall, and it'll be administered in spring of 2026. So thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion action items. Consider a vote to approve AI policy second read.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the second read.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consider a vote to approve content filtering platform licensing RFP.
Excellent.
Hey guys, how's it going? So I just wanted to come up and talk about why we're going out for an RFP for this. So we're required by federal law to have content monitoring and filtering on all the student devices and the network. Currently, we use a platform called GoGuardian. In 2019, when we first started using GoGuardian, it was really the only platform like it. There wasn't really an equivalent. But now, over the years, the price has gone up steadily, and there's other platforms that are the same, that charge much less. So we're going out to try to find a suitable replacement platform that will fit with us a bit better cost-wise.
Does anyone have any questions for Patrick? Thank you, Patrick.
I'll make a motion to approve the RFP for the content filtering platform licensing.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consider a vote to approve the 2025-2026 school calendar.
So I just want to make a note on the calendar. So this year, we heard from quite a few parents and teachers that there wasn't enough time for parent conferences. So working with the union, instead of doing a half day on November 20th, we want to do a full day of parent conferences. So there'll be a night time and then a full day of parent conferences to give parents more of an opportunity to come in and meet with teachers. And we think that will help to alleviate, the fact that a lot of parents weren't able to get appointments. So that is on the calendar this year. In order to do that, we had to petition RIDE, because you can either do 180 days or the equivalent in minutes, and we're well over the minutes, so that day would not count as a school day. And like I said, we were using it as a half day earlier, but we felt that it would be better served to give parents more time.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consider a vote to approve list of technology e-waste.
Do you want him, if Patrick can speak to that if anyone has questions?
Right, any, good?
Is that the buyback one?
No.
Just give like a top line.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's extra, we got extra today.
Yeah.
So in your packets, you guys will see a couple different sheets. I think there's 2 from Total Tech, and then there's essentially just a printout of a spreadsheet. The ones from Total Tech are devices that we were able to get a quote for that companies were willing to buy back, and they'll either sell them or melt them down into the precious metals. And the other ones are devices, the ones in just the unlabeled spreadsheet, are ones that we weren't able to get any quotes or people willing to purchase them, essentially. And so those we're just going to dispose of down at DPW. Did you have a question?
Thank you. Just curious in terms of like the quantity. There's probably a couple of hundred devices on this list, and so I'm just curious like where they came from, and then for consistently moving forward, is this something that we should expect to be doing, at this time of year, every year moving forward, or where do we come up with the hundreds of units that we're selling back?
Yes, definitely not every year. This is a once every couple of years kind of quantity. We, in cleaning areas out and being in schools and things, have you'll notice a bunch of iPads on there, a bunch of old iPads. Those are left over from various purchases of iPads that buy a couple here, buy a couple there, and now a lot of them are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, so they're not really able to be used anymore. You'll see, I think they're X360s, which are an old version of Chromebook that we used to issue to students, and during COVID, we issued them to teachers as well. They were a couple years old when we issued them then, and now we're pretty far past that kind of generation. So we're just trying to move them out so we have more room for the stuff that we need to issue.
And then is this discovery through your work?
So a lot of the devices we've had in the office, you guys haven't been into my office, but it's kind of a warehouse, essentially. IT folk tend to have a tendency to sort of stockpile things, sort of a just-in-case sort of situation. Even at home, I have like little bags of cables that I may use once, but I want to hold on to it just in case. And so a lot of these things we've held on to sort of as a, maybe we can find an application for this, but at this point, they're past software updates and things, so we're just not able to do that anymore.
Well, thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, go ahead.
And some of these devices may be obsolete, and you can no longer get security updates, so it
Yeah.
would be prudent to use them, correct?
Correct.
I just have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the estimated amount, the $3,800?
Yes, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not sure which
Okay, yeah, 38.
buyback thing it is, but that's one of them, yes.
Yeah, that's what
I think there's two separate ones. One's that's all the iPads, and then one that's the X360s, I believe.
Okay. All right. The money that we're getting back can somebody tell us where that's going?
We've been talking with the superintendent about it. We're hoping to use it back into IT for more devices, and ideally a new badge printer, which is something we've been needing for some time.
Does this have to be voted, is this time sensitive?
No. So we, how the e-waste process kind of works, we send it in, they verify it's the quality we've reported it in, and then we get the check in a couple of months. So it's definitely something, we won't see the money for a little bit, so it's not really a time-sensitive kind of thing. But at least for the, the stuff that's actual garbage, we'll be able to, get it out and free up some space in the office for stuff we actually have to work on.
Because these are the items that I don't, I like to support, but I also like to support and know where this money's going. Taxpayers paid for this. This body's gonna sit here and say, destroy it. We're gonna pick up a decent chunk of money.
Yeah.
And I consider it a budgetary item. Where is this money going? So,
Yeah. Yeah, we're planning on using it to purchase additional flat panels like the one you see behind us. We only have, I think, 3 or 4, and there's one in every 3 or 4 extras, and there's one in every classroom in the district. So obviously we need more of those in case a few break. And then on top of that, devices, the badge printer, things like that.
So Patrick, essentially, the money's going back into the IT budget, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we're keeping it kind of in IT, just to use it for various expenditures like the flat panels and things.
Thank you. Tony, did you have any follow-up?
is there any way to track this so we can know that it's spent on this program?
Yeah, I can, if you want, when we have all the quotes back and stuff, I can send them to you guys so you're aware of, hey, we have the quotes, this is the cost.
Right, because like I said, Pat, I'd like to see all of this money. This is
Yeah.
from a good work of all our students, what they're doing to rebuild them to get life, what you're doing for, it's very important to me then, when we got good people working on situations like this, that money goes back into that program,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I can get all the quotes together once we have them and
I'll
put them your way.
vote to support it, but just with, if you can email, the committee where the money's gonna be spent, that'd be excellent.
Yeah, once we have quotes and stuff, I'll get it all out to you guys.
Thank you, and
Yeah,
thank
no
you for
problem.
what you do.
Thank you, Patrick. I will now entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. So it's number 6, excuse me, Tony.
Consider a vote to approve EPHS trip to New York in May of 2025.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Consider a vote to approve Mill City settlement.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the settlement as discussed in executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it.
Consider a vote to approve RIDOH RIDE 2025 Youth Risk Behavior Survey for middle school and high school students.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the survey.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it. 2. Dr. Fran, do you have any announcements?
We have a girls' basketball playoff game tonight at 8 o'clock at Portsmouth. The girls are playing Tiverton. We have girls' hockey playoff game tomorrow night at, what time? 7:30 at Burrville. We have wrestling state championships starting tomorrow night. So there's a lot of it at Providence Career and Tech. And I believe boys hockey is playing. We also have swimming state championships at Brown on Sunday.
Busy.
There's a lot going on. I believe there's boys hockey playoffs also. So good luck to all of our teams that are competing in the playoffs this weekend.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?